Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a special video as per the inside of the YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about someone super famous that I had the honor to meet. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to join the Discord down below. A lot of like-minded people in that Discord, so if you're into that, go check it out. But today's a different type of video. It's a story time, which I've never done one of these on the channel, but I went to test it out because not a lot of YouTubers actually do this, at least in the WarThunder community that I could find. It's a pretty niche area, so I went to see how it goes. And the story I'm about to tell was so amazing. I just had to tell. I had to get it out there in the world because it happened, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And one more thing, if you guys like this, please show a lot of support because I'll make more videos like this. So sit back and relax, maybe put this in the background as audio to listen to, but without further ado, let's get into it. So a while back, I made a video on my second channel about a pilot named Royce Williams. And this was a Navy pilot who conducted extraordinary exploits to shoot down Soviet MiG-15s. Now, this was one of the few times Americans and Soviets were actually in a confrontation, and it's such an amazing story. And I heard this story a couple years back, even before I was in college, and when I went into college, I made a whole report about it. I made a whole big deal because it was such an amazing story. I was so awestruck by it and how it's even possible, how it even happened, the sheer amount of skill it required for this to happen. So I made a YouTube video about it, I think like maybe a month ago. I'll link it in the description. It's a good watch. Or just look up his name and watch his story. I really recommend it. But yeah, I heard about it and I was like, this pilot, he managed to do all this. It's absolutely insane. So as some of you guys know, I'm actually pursuing a career in the Air Force. I want to be a fighter pilot. That's my main goal in life, to be a fighter pilot. If I'm a fighter pilot, if I'm flying an F-16 or something like that, I could die happily. That's my main goal in life. So naturally, I'm in an ROTC program. Not JROTC, ROTC. There's a difference. One is in high school, one is in college. One in college, you actually get contracted, I believe, your sophomore year. And I'm in that program currently. And I'm studying to, be a fighter pilot in the Air Force. And one of our classes, we had a class on Royce Williams. Now, I had heard about him before, and I had knowledge of who he was before this class, or before this lesson happened. But when they're talking about it in class, I was super excited. I was like, oh, sweet, we get a cool dogfight story in class. So a really quick synopsis of the story is a Navy pilot, Royce Williams, gets intercepted by 7 MiG-15s, and 2 of his wingmen have technical difficulties and return to the carrier. Now, these MiG-15s threaten the carrier by strafing it and blowing up aircraft on the top of it. I mean, there were 7 of them, and they come with 37 and 23mm cannons. So they pack a punch. So Royce Williams gets engaged. They get into a dogfight. Royce Williams manages to damage 6 of them, and it is confirmed that he killed 4 of them, but the other 2 crash landed, so I usually count just 6 kills because he damaged them, then they crashed because of the damage, right? And then he flies back to the carrier with no rudder, and some of his controls are pretty stiff, so the elevator's barely working. He has 200 bullet holes in his aircraft, but he still manages to land on the carrier. And after he lands on the carrier, the government tells him, hey, you can't tell this story, this can't get out. You're binded by secrecy, because if this gets out, it could cause World War III, because you just potentially killed 6 MiG-15 pilots, which were Russian. They were Soviet pilots. So that could cause a world war, obviously. So they told him to keep low about it, and they covered it up. The government covered it up, basically. And he held that in for years. But this story basically inspired Top Gun, because if you look at Top Gun 1, it's essentially the same story, minus the training bit, but towards the end, it's basically the same thing. But yeah, that is essentially the story, and that's what they told us in the ROTC class, what it was all about, and that's what we were learning that lesson. And, I listened to it and everything, and they said, hey, he is going to get the Distinguished Flying Cross at one of his award ceremonies, and he's in town, right? And I was freaking out. I was like, wait, what? He's actually in town? I get to have a chance to actually meet him, maybe, potentially. And now, mind you, at award ceremonies, you're not going to be talking to him face to face. You're going to be in the crowd. sitting down, of course, watching it. But as an ROTC cadet, that'd be cool to go to. It's a nice volunteer event as well. And this is the only time I get to meet this guy, which is, I want to meet him 100%, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is my only chance to meet him. So I figure out, I have work today, the same day, the event's happening. And they said it kind of late, so I couldn't take off work in advance, which really sucked. So I'm like, I can't get fired, that would suck. And I decide not to go. And when that happened, I couldn't go and everything. I was like, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. I had a chance to meet this amazing person, Royce Williams, and I missed out. And mind you, I'm the person who doesn't really care about celebrities. Like, if I met one, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, nice. Maybe Tom Hanks. I'd ask him questions because he helped make Band of Brothers, and I love that series. But I'm not super crazy about that stuff. And this is the one person I'm like, oh, I would love to meet this guy and, ask him all sorts of questions, how he did it and everything. Especially since I want to be a fighter pilot and I love everything about dogfights. But I missed my opportunity. So a couple months later in spring semester, spring semester ends, it's over, and I have a PDT, which is a special credit you get in ROTC. It helps you commission. And it's a PDT event at a golf tournament. And I'm like, okay, why not? I'll volunteer. Why not? And I volunteer, and it goes pretty decently. It's a long day. It almost felt like a shift. But, we had free food, so I couldn't complain. But what happened there was a cadet invited me to a event at a 4th of July parade. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, why not? I don't mind. I got nothing to do in the summer. And, I accept the offer. And a couple weeks later, we go to this event. And we show up at the museum. This was the first time we get our actual nice uniforms. We had been using khakis and a black polo for the past year. And now we finally get our Air Force special uniforms. And I'm wearing them. They look nice. We're at the bus, and the lady, she's talking to us. She's saying like what we're gonna do and how we're gonna sort this out and who's sitting where, that sort of deal, on the bus or outside the bus. And she mentions Royce Williams. I'm like, huh? Wait, what did you say? She's like, Royce Williams. I'm like, do you mean like the Royce Williams, like the guy who shot down like 6 MiGs? She's like, yeah. And she introduced me to him, and I was like freaking out, dude. I was like, what? Huh? I was freaking out. It was such a dopamine hit. Like, I was like, what? How this doesn't make sense, because I didn't expect to see him there. Because I didn't know who we'd see there. I knew we'd see some veterans, but I didn't expect we'd see Royce Williams there. It was just like a surprise. That's like you walking, or that's like you coming into your job and, I don't know, Michael Jackson is there. I mean, that'd be pretty bewildering considering that he's dead. But still, you get the point. It's like, wow, I was freaking out. And, I believe they picked up on that. I was fangirling, I guess you could say, and they said, hey, well, in the parade you can sit next to him or sit in the same Jeep with him on the trailer bit. And I was just in shock, dude. Like, I was just out of it. I was like, what? Like, this doesn't feel real. It feels like a dream. What is going on? Like, Royce Williams is like one of the few people I'd actually like to meet, Like, I'm not a huge celebrity guy. I know they have a lot of talent too, but like someone who's actually shot down Soviet, Russian MiG-15s, not Korean, not North Korean or anything like that. These guys were Russian pilots or Soviet pilots, and he shot them down, and a ton of them in a 1v7. That's insane. Like, that's just almost impossible. But he's a very skillful pilot, and he definitely put his training to use. So after, I met him, we're in the bus driving to the parade route and everything. We're about to, park and, get off the bus. And he puts in my hand, or he grabs my hand, and then he lets his hand go, and he leaves like a challenge coin. And I'll show you guys it here, right here. It's the one on the right. The one on the left, that's an FTX coin that I got for finding an expensive radio when we were looking for it all day. It took a while. Here's some FTX pictures. This one's me. But yeah, that was a fun story. I'll probably tell you guys that in the future. But the one on the right, that one is from Captain E. Royce Williams. Like, that is from him. He gave that to me. And I was just staring at it like, what? Huh? I was in shock. Like, my mouth was open. I was in bewilderment. I was quite befuddled. And yeah, I got to sit next to him on the bus. We, chatted about his life and, how he was able to shoot down that many MiGs. And it was really an awesome time. And the dude was so humble and so stoic. Just like an awesome person to actually meet in real life. Like people say, oh, you meet like a celebrity in real life, they don't act like what they act like. Like this guy, he acts like what you would think he would act like. Dude is super humble, and you could just tell that whenever you're talking to him. That's the story how I met Royce Williams, and I'll definitely remember it for the rest of my life. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Did you know about his story? And if not, tell me what you guys think about it. And tell me if you guys like this sort of video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to join the Discord down below. And we're on our way to 100,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate if you'd hit that sub button. If not, hey, I understand. Anyway, take care, guys, and God bless.